Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel, Flashback TNT. This is a pickups video of a special kind, and it's a first for me. You can probably see to my left, and you've seen the title. It's about my Sega Saturn pickup. Basically, I've never ever played a Sega Saturn up to this point in time. It came out in around 1995, and it's eluded me ever since. I mean, I've had loads of local pickups, and not once have I had a pickup where I could pick up a Sega Saturn and play it. I just didn't see it in my area, and I haven't seen it in my area. I've done local pickups now for around 5 years, and not one has been a Sega Saturn or a Dreamcast, funnily enough. I have seen other people pick them up in the area, but they just seem to be rare around my area. So what I was going to do was, because I've never played one before, I wanted to remedy that. So I've decided to go the Japanese Sega Saturn route with the 60Hz, obviously, so complete 60Hz, and the pseudo Saturn Kai mod with the action replay cartridge. So I started piecing together little bits and pieces from different sources, and slowly I've built up over time the means to be able to play these games now. So I'll share with you what I've picked up and my reasoning behind it, obviously. So first of all, you can see the nice Sony TV. This was actually picked up a couple of years ago locally. I think it was about 15 quid, which I think's a decent deal. It's got a lovely bright image. I don't think the camera will do it justice, but you all know that anyway. Yeah, so I've had that sitting in the shed for a little bit. I had it rearranged in the games room, so I've pulled it back out, give it a clean down, and it's good to go again. I had a little bit of an issue. I couldn't get it to turn on, so I took the TV apart, traced the cables, and then realised there was a second on-off switch, a main one underneath this flap. But because of the angle I was sitting, I couldn't see it. I was just pressing the one on this side. So yeah, that was a good learning curve for me. So secondly, I needed somewhere to put the CRT, and I don't know if any of you've came across this, but it's quite hard now to find a slimline CRT stand brand new online. It must be because they aren't in demand anymore and people aren't making them, but yeah, I struggled, and it just clicked in my mind that my mum and dad had one in the back garden, and it was just rotting away. So this is it. These were all rusty, and these were actually pine coloured and starting to go a bit dark from the rain and stuff. So I've cleaned it all down, and using what I had around the house, I've just given it a bit of an upscale, and I'm actually really pleased with how it's turned out. The wood's not perfect, but it's not something I'm going to be precious about because it's going to get used, and because it's on wheels, it allows me to push it around the game room, so it's perfect. I mean, you know how big and cumbersome these types of CRTs are, so this should allow me to move it around quite safely if I need the room or access to anywhere. So that's the TV, that's the stand. So I needed a Sega Saturn. I was talking to Cine Steve Retro Gamer, and he mentioned he had one spare in his loft and he wasn't using it, and it was the I think it's the Mark 1 model, and this is it. This is the box. Now originally, to save costs, I wasn't going to buy one with a box. I was just going to buy one loose, but Steve gave us a good price on this, so I thought, you know what, I'll pay a little bit extra, get the box, and I know it's coming from a reputable source. It's been tested. He sent us a video of it and stuff. So yeah, that arrived last week. This has all been put together over like a few weeks period. So yeah, that's the Sega Saturn. It was the first time I'd ever held the controller as well. It's a nice controller. I mean, they feel alien to me, the shape of the Sega controllers, because I never used them. The only pad I sort of used was the Master System one, so this shape and like the Mega Drive shape, I just feel a little bit alien. So it's taken a little bit of getting used to where I place my hands and where you have the buttons and stuff. I mean, just yeah, I'm sort of getting used to it now. Just yeah, it's just alien, as I say. I'll get used to it over time, and the more play. Yeah, I think it's a really nice controller. Buttons are clicky. I like the D-pad. D-pad especially is really nice. I took it apart and give it a clean. It's quite a simple little controller, but very effective. You've seen the console. It's a beautiful design. Actually, in the hand, it's gorgeous. So the next thing I picked up was I wanted to play backup games. Yeah, so to play the backup games, I need a a DVD CD writer, obviously a CDR writer. So I looked online and I bought one for my laptop because my laptop doesn't come with a CD drive anymore. So I bought one of those. It's 20 odd quid off Amazon, and I was going to use it for other things anyway, so I was killing two birds with one stone. Yeah, so I was happy to get that. So next I'd need CDRs. So I got a spool of them, so cheap. I mean, you see I've used a few now and you'll see why in a second. So yeah, I've got those. So where do I put those once I've burnt some backups of the games? I bought a CD wallet. Now this isn't taking up much space at all, is it? And it's a good way to have your games stored. Yeah, so I bought a CD wallet and I was looks a bit plain, so my wife kindly did me a Sega Saturn transfer sticker, like she made the t-shirt. So I thought that's great. It goes with my PlayStation 1 as well. So what games have I got in here, I hear you ask? So I've got Battle Garega, Outrun, Elevator Action Returns, Dodonpachi, Salamander Deluxe Plus Pack, Nights into Dreams, Sega Rally Championship, Layer Section 2, and Radiant Silver Gun. And obviously in the console you've seen is Hyper Duel, which is the first game I played, and I give that honour to Scott Brand, Sega Zombie Blue Spines. He picked the game for me to play, and that was the first one I played on the console, so I was really chuffed with that. He informs me it's a £350 game, so I made sure I enjoyed it. Yeah. So what else have I got? So today, which allowed me to finish the video, a Sync-on Luma cable came through from Retro Gaming Cables. When I was looking into it and learning about like the types of mods you can do for the Sega Saturn and the type of outputs to TVs and that, because this TV is RGB. A lot of people pointed towards the Retro Gaming Cables as a good company to go with. So I was going to buy the C-Sync cable, but they were out of stock, so I went for the Sync-on Luma after talking to them on Facebook. They assured me it wouldn't be any different really to the C-Sync on this TV. It's only when you start getting into your PVMs and switches and stuff like that that it can cause issues. But weirdly enough, I plugged this in, and this cable here, the composite, sorry, the composite cable, it's full screen, isn't it? Well, when I plug this in, this sort of like shrinks the image down and puts 3 green coloured lines across the screen. Now, I don't think that's right, but I don't have any previous knowledge, so can somebody confirm to me whether that is right or wrong? Because I'd prefer just using the composite cable instead. I know it's not ideal being at the front, and apparently, obviously, it's meant to be worse than this cable, but to be honest, that looks good enough to me. So, can you please let me know, because they aren't cheap, those, so I need to find out that. Now, to play my backups, I went the action replay route. So at the time I was talking to Simon Locke regarding all this. He's a very knowledgeable guy, and as we were speaking a couple of days later, like we were speaking over a few days, the action replay cartridges came back in on Amazon. So I bought one. That's the Amazon, from the action replay cartridge from Amazon. Now these can be flashed with pseudo Saturn Kai, and that allows you to play the backup games, or games from any region, in fact. Now I sent this directly to Simon from Amazon, and he kindly flashed it for me because I didn't have any means to do it, and sent it to me a couple of weeks ago now. So I was really chuffed to get that, and I really appreciate his help. It's been a big help in putting this together. So if any of you need advice on mods or mods doing, because he's good with obviously soldering iron and stuff like that, he's well into his tech, he's well trustworthy, and he'll do you a good job. And he also obviously suggested the step down converter. for the 240 to 110 voltage for the console. So I bought this from Amazon as well. I was going to get one of these anyway because I've got the need for it for other things, so it comes in handy. Yeah. And finally, as a little bonus, Simon was talking to me regarding the memory of the console and how to save games, and he said some games require more save data than what's on the console. So he kindly sent me through another memory card, which I really appreciate. Thanks very much, Simon. Yeah, so that's me. I've put it all together, and I can now play Sega Saturn games. So if you've got any suggestions that I haven't mentioned, please feel free to add them in the comment section below. As I say, I've got a few games now. I haven't played Battle Garega yet. I've played Outrun. I was talking to Sony Steve about this, and he's challenged me to get the 1cc run within a week. I don't think that'll be happening, but I've had good fun with it, and it gets your eyes after a while, especially when you're flying in and there's people cutting in front of you and stuff. Oh, it can be infuriating as well. Another game that was mentioned by Sony Steve, was Elevator Action Returns, and it was also recommended to me by Scott Brand, Sega Zombie. And that's a really unique game where you're going down the levels, up the levels on elevators, and you've got to work your way through. It's a bit of a side-scrolling shooter as well. Yeah, I've enjoyed what I've played of that. Haven't played Dodonpachi or Salamander. Nights into Dreams I haven't tried yet. Sega Rally Championship I have tried. I actually think that's a really tight racing game. It's a good arcade style game, and I enjoyed the few courses. I got quite far even on my first attempt, so it's really accessible right from the off. There's no like really steep learning curve or whatever. Lace Section 1 and 2 I haven't played. Radiant Silver Gun I've had a quick blast, but I can't honestly say I've played a lot of that one to comment yet. Yeah, and Hyper Duel I've really enjoyed. I've got to the third section, the third stage, but my god, these shooters, these shoot 'em ups are really a kick on my ass at the minute. You can tell I'm not a shmup type of player, but I'll hopefully get used to it, and I'll get better. I don't even know how many stages there is, but I'll give them a good go and see if I can get to the end of them. So yeah, that's it. It's brought to the end of the video. I don't think there's anything left to mention, so I'll say thanks very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next one. Thanks.